models who turn up with a portfolio behind them where they have a very certain niche, a very certain look, and then they turn up one day and they change their look and they have a different vibe and it presents something completely different to what the photographer was expecting. Does the photographer have a right to be annoyed at that? So we are back with the confessions of a photographer. It's a catchy title, isn't it? So this one is kind of apt to something that happened recently, but it's not specifically about that. That just reminded me of a conversation that I was had, and I kind of refer back to it as my point while I was chatting to them. And it's basically model being their own product, their own brand, and then turning up as something that you don't expect, and the photographer not being impressed by that. And yeah, so let me streamline that in a way I can use it as an intro and it doesn't sound stupid. Models who turn up with a portfolio behind them where they have a very certain niche, a very certain look, and then they turn up one day and they change their look and they have a different vibe and it presents something completely different to what the photographer was expecting. Does the photographer have a right to be annoyed at that? And I'd say yes, but I've had models come in the studio. This actually, I don't know if I had them in the studio. This is just people I've worked with in the past who have mentioned that they had a certain look and then they turn on one day and maybe the hair had changed or something. Or they'd had a haircut and the photographer was really annoyed at them. As a photographer, you have a right to be annoyed, whether you express that in a very negative and harsh way in person to the model at the time, rather than just going, well, you should inform me, this isn't going to work, you're not what I'm looking for now. They have a right to do that. I hate to say it, but they do. Like, I always use the example, like, I really like curly hair, and in fact, I've worked with a model, right? So I'm going to use this as an example. And it was a TF shoot, so I had nothing in mind about what I wanted to shoot with her. I just liked the model, and it was a TF shoot, so it wasn't an issue. I had no narrative. Look at that Elvis little flick down there. I had no narrative that I had to hit. It didn't really sit with me that I was annoyed. I was a bit miffed because I would have preferred her to turn up with curly hair, and she didn't. But it was a model my friend had shot with her. I thought she was stunning. I thought she was a good model. I'd spoken to him and asked him questions about her, like, she's really cool, she's really cool. And one day, out of the blue, which is always nice, never happens in North Wales, she got in contact with me and was like, I want to work with you. Let's shoot TF. I was like, hell yeah. Why come to me out of all the people? Because I always thought she was quite well to do and only work with like certain like people that she like, meh, meh, meh. You know, even if you're a good photographer, there are people who are in that meh, meh, meh level of clickiness and bullshittery. And for her to just get in contact with me out of the blue and be like, hey, I want to work with you, let's work together. I was like, fuck yeah. And she had curly hair and I was like, cool, let's do it, it's going to be amazing. She turned up and it was straight as a fucking arrow. And I remember being like, damn, it's not. I'm going to put some pictures up. So this is no slight on her because like I said, I think she's got a wicked look. And then I like dark skin in general as well. It's a vibe. And yeah, she turned up with straight hair. I'll put some examples up. I was like, it's not what I expected, but at the end of the day, at this point, we are just we're jamming, we're making stuff up. I like you say, I normally work to a narrative and an idea and a vibe, and if I had something specifically that I think I wanted to like curly hair a certain way or something, I would have been a bit more pissed. But again, it was a model I really wanted to work with. Her hair didn't really have much to do with it, you know. Yeah, if you were turning up to a professional shoot and they're expecting you to look a certain way and you don't, then you just can't do that. And most models that work with hobbyists, which is a lot at a hobbyist level who make a lot of money, and they turn up and they change their look drastically without telling people. Yeah, you can't do that. You can do that with hobbyists and they might take it on the chin, but they have every right to be pissed off that they're not getting the shoot they thought they were getting. But you can't do that in a professional arena because you are booked. Literally, your casting is to fulfill a look, a vibe. You are the product. Whether you like it or not, how you look, you are that product. It is you. They are booking you as a product. And yeah, if you change it up without informing them, then you like get kicked off the shoot even, never mind they be a bit miffed and pissed off with you. Do definitely be considerate of that. I think photographers, art directors have every right for you to turn up and not be who you say you are. I mean, if you're working on a professional shoot and it's as simple as hair, as long as you've not cut it all off, pixie cutted it when they thought they were getting someone with long hair, because you've been doing like the hair awards. That happens a lot, by the way. I used to assist with a photographer on the hair award, same photographer who shot the model I was on about, and you get people at the start of hair season, the hair will be down here, and then by the end of the season, we're like until they got like a pixie cut. And if you turn up with a pixie cut and they're expecting someone with long hair and they are selling a brand, they are going to be pretty peed off by that. And you're not going to fit into their vision, and they have every right to be like, well, you're not what I ordered. And in life, if you order something off the internet and it's not what you ordered, you have the right to send it back and get a refund. And the same goes with modelling. So in the past, I've had models come to me like, I turned up at this shoot and I'd pulled my hair off or done this or done that, and the photographer was like, I can't believe it. Yeah, they have the right to be kind of miffed at you, because then you're not delivering what they're paying for, and they're paying you hundreds of pounds, so they have every right to be like, hell no, I don't want that. It's not the product I ordered. Send it back. I want a refund. And if you put time and effort into getting to that shoot and you've failed to inform them and you've done nothing right to deliver the package that you're supposed to be delivering, and they receive the wrong package, then that's your loss, unfortunately. So yeah, like I say, how they handle it is debatable. Whether I get secondhand information from a model who wasn't impressed, so she's going to embellish how pissed off the photographer is probably. But I think the photographer has every right to be like, hell no, not for me. So yeah, do photographers moan at models for not being the product that they were expecting? Yes. That can manifest itself in many ways. Maybe girls have way too much Photoshop on their portfolio, in which case it's the photographer's fault, because you can normally tell if someone is completely over Photoshopped and they've had too much work done and their photos are really fake. And if that's the case and they have a whole portfolio of that and you book them anyway, that's the risk you take. So that's on a photographer as well. But obviously girls can turn up and have zero hair from having long hair, or some things just really sell a model. I'm going to use a weird example here. Like, I'm a fan of a band called Baby Monster, and one of the members of Baby Monster, she has crop hair, and they're called Your Bias, Your Favourite Member, and she looks really cool, and she's got this crop hair. Whenever she has long hair, because they K-pop, they quite often put on wigs and what, it just doesn't suit her. If I had a shoot book with her and she turned up, I'd want her to have that anime crop hair, because it just really suits. It just gives her a vibe. It makes her character, which I think she leans into now. She genuinely does like go for that kind of big makeup look, cropped hair, and it's just her vibe. So I think she leans into that in general. But of course, in music videos and stuff, they change the character up and they put on wigs and whatnot. Comes naturally, I know the matter me, because they know I'm the. And I'd be pretty annoyed if I want to shoot acid with this crop hair, and then she turns on and she's got like hair down to her ass, or no hair. I'd be like, it's not the character I wanted. It's not what I thought I was getting into. I'm the sugar honey iced tea, and you know it. So yeah, I think it's very important that you just keep people informed. If you're going through changes, you're allowed to go through changes, but you have to bear the responsibility of those changes and then inform the photographer and the creative team. It's not their problem that you're going through changes, no matter how. If those life changes are forced upon you through grievances like, I don't know how it would affect you, like death. You're going through something that has changed who you are, how you feel, and it's having a negative impact on you physically and your product. As unfortunate and as horrible and as shitty as that is, just tell people, if you're going through a hard period in life and your communication is going to go through the floor because you just don't want to speak to people, then that's fine, but don't ignore people, because you leave it 6 months. I've had this happen to me numerous times, going, oh, this happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow, tough shit. All you have to say was, I'm going through hard times. I don't want to speak now. Can we put a rain check on it and we'll catch up in 6 months' time? Cool. Ignoring my correspondence after I've put in time and effort and I've written paragraphs to explain to you the nuances of the things that I'm trying to make us money collectively, because we are a collaboration project, and then you just wake up one day and ignore all that, and then 6 months on, don't expect me to be pissed off that your communication is dog shit and then make excuses when I point out that your communication is dog shit. Just tell people that you're going through this, you're doing that life has changed, your circumstances have changed, your look has changed, and it was my choice for that look to change, and if that's not what you're looking for anymore, then that is my choice, not your problem, and it's something that you're going to have to succumb and take on yourself. So yeah, things like that. Do inform your photographer, the creative team. As a confession, we will very much be pissed off, yes. We will handle that pissed off on us. That dinosaur? Pissed offosaurus? In different ways, and hopefully if you do end up on the wrong end of that, the person that doesn't treat you shit, they just tell you to go away. And to to be honest with you, if they're treating you like shit after they've told you to go away and you don't accept it, it's probably, based on my experience of dealing with models, it's probably then your reply to that, your attitude, your entitledness, that they should be working with you, that, oh, it's only a haircut. It's probably that has forced their arm to treat you like a twat because you are acting like a twat. In this game, you get treated with the respect that you give people, and if you disrespect people by turning up as something that you're not, or they're not expecting because you've changed what you are, then they're going to treat you in kind, and they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to tell you about it. And the only person that is on is you, so make sure you just use logic, a few brain cells, and be a decent person about it, and inform your creative team if anything changes, and then everyone is on the same page and they can make informed decisions prior to the shoot. And if that means you don't get the work that you thought you were going to get, then that's on you because you made the change. And if they accept you anyway with open arms, then absolutely cool. At least they know what they're getting. That doesn't mean you were right in that you could have not told them. It just means that, you know, you still fit the brand and the vibe they're looking for, even with the change, and ace, because you've not lost any work. So yeah, just accept that. And yeah, the photographer has a right to be annoyed. Peace.